Hello again. Good to see you all. Hope you are enjoying life and all the good things about it. Today I want to talk to you about the most powerful thing in the world, and their thoughts. There is a saying that thoughts are things. I'd like to just read a couple of things to you on some scientific explanation on thoughts, and I'd like to give you my own simplified explanation on thoughts. Thoughts, or thinking, is a mental process which allows beings to model the world and to deal with it effectively according to their goals, plans, ends, and desires. Thinking is a higher cognitive function, and the analysis of thinking processes is part of cognitive psychology. I will break all that down for you in my own simple way in a little bit. When a single neuron, and you have neurons and dendrites, all the connections in the brain. When a single neuron fires, it is an isolated chemical blip. Imagine that. When many fire together, they form a thought. How the brain bridges the gap between these two tiers of neutral activity remains a mystery. I think it's very simple, but anyways. But the new kind of technology is edging us closer to solving it. My. The human brain is composed of about 100 billion nerve cells or neurons, interconnected by trillions of connections called synapses. On average, each connection transmits about one signal per second. Some specialized connections send up to 1,000 signals per second. Somehow, that's producing thoughts. Imagine that, says Charles Germain, director of neurotechnology at MIT. Thought encompasses an aim-oriented flow of ideas and association that can lead to a reality-oriented conclusion. Although thinking is an activity of an essential value for humans, there is still no consensus as to how it is adequately defined or understood. Because thought underlies many human actions and interactions, understanding its physical and metaphysical origin and its effects has been a long-standing goal of many academic disciplines. We've been on the earth for quite a few thousand years now, and we've been getting along fine without actually understanding everything about how the brain works. The brain is still a mystery, period. But I like to think of thoughts as an ocean or a river, or even like the air that we breathe. We are in this flow of life, and we resonate with different things, and the things that we resonate with are the things that comes into our head, and we think about them. But I like to put it in a different way. Thoughts are always flowing through our head, our mind, our brain at all times. Just like the air is always flowing, all you have to do is to breathe it. I believe thought is of the same thing. I believe there's information out there that we can just plug into and get. I talk to songwriters, and some of them, they will tell you, you ask them how did they write your song, and they say, we just downloaded the song. They say it's already out there. But I want to get more specific than that. Thoughts is a flow of information that's always happening at all times. We are always in touch with it. It's good and it's bad. It's evil And it's fantastic, right? How many times have you been in a situation and you have to make a decision to do something good or to do something bad, to be nice to a person or to cuss them out, or whatever the case might be? But what happens is that whole school of information that you need to express is already there. And what triggers some of it sometimes is anger or love or whatever you might want to think. But we're always thinking. When I was a teenager, I was taught, like similar to what I'm teaching you right now, and it says thoughts are always going through our mind. What I want to say to you here is, and this is very important, because thoughts are going through your mind doesn't mean that you are responsible for these thoughts. That's a very important lesson to learn. You are not responsible for the thoughts that go through your head all the time. So you are having a day and thousands of thoughts go through your mind. The thoughts that you're responsible for are the thoughts that you entertain. So in other words, a thought just flies through your mind and you just let it go. You didn't think about it another time. You didn't sit down and decide and make a decision on it. You didn't consider it, right? You didn't acknowledge it. I guess that would be the best word. You did not acknowledge the thoughts. Any thoughts that you don't acknowledge, it's a thought that you're not responsible for. It just goes about its business. But the thoughts that you acknowledge or pay attention to, and you kind of open the door to them and say, hey, come and let's have a chat, I like you. I'm going to do you, meaning I'm going to punch this person out, I'm going to do this nice things. At that point in time when you entertain the thoughts, that's when the thought becomes your thought and you're now responsible for the thought. And when that thought carries out in an action, of course you're responsible for that action as well. But as long as you don't entertain certain thoughts, you are not responsible for them. So you have thoughts of good, you have thoughts of evil. And the ones that you entertain are the ones that you own. You put a claim on, you say, this is mine, I want to do this, I like it, let's go along with it. It doesn't matter what it is. A lot of people will call these the bad thoughts temptations. Well, maybe they are temptations, but they don't call the good thoughts temptations. But they're on the same level. They just come into the mind and you decide you're going to do one or the other. And when thoughts come into the mind and you entertain them, then they become what is called dominant thoughts. And once you have a dominant thought, then you're going to carry it out at some point, whether it's good or bad. But remember, when it's in the thought stage and you dismiss it from your mind and you don't acknowledge it, you just let it go about its business, you're not responsible for that thought. And a lot of people today are feeling bad because they have a lot of rotten thoughts. But don't feel bad about having rotten thoughts. Feel bad when they said, yes, I'm going to listen to those rotten thoughts and then I'm going to do this if I get the opportunity. Then you feel bad. But prior to that, it is just a thought. Just let it go. It's just like something that is, it's like driving down a street and you're passing by a store and you're not going to stop and go into that store. You're just going to drive past it. So once you drive past it, you have not connected to it and it is not yours. Important that you understand that. You're responsible for the thoughts that you have acknowledged and you have agreed to and said, yes, I'm going to follow through on these actions. Once you have not gotten that far with a thought, it means nothing. It has no value. And you should not feel bad about it because we all have thoughts every single day, all the time. If you realize how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think another negative thoughts again, because thoughts are things. Thoughts are what you use to create your reality. You think about it first and then you do it. Some thoughts you may decide I'm going to do 5 years from now, but you have agreed on that, and when 5 years come, you just automatically do those things that you had agreed to, right? So thoughts acknowledged and adopted into your life results in a reality. Okay, so remember when we were talking about the positive thinking, what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. It is all thoughts. What you think and believe can happen will happen, and that's thoughts. So if you have thoughts, then you can also disable thoughts by not believing in them. and dismissing them if they're too strong or you think they're too powerful for you, because sometimes a lot of us are caught into this loop where we figure we are trapped in this way of thinking. I can't get these thoughts out of my head. Yes, you can. Once you have not acknowledged them, once you said I don't want you, once you ignore them and tell them go their way, they have no power. Totally powerless. And what has happened is a lot of times we feel bad for those thoughts because we think we are thinking those things. No, we're not. They are already present, and we are just attracting them for whatever reason, because we do attract things in our lives, and we're just going through those things for whatever reason. But the thoughts are normal, but they are not your thoughts until you have decided yes. Somebody say, hey, go hurt a person. The thought comes to mind, go hurt this person. As long as you ignore it and said, oh, I'm not going to hurt anybody, and I have, whatever else you want to justify it with, I have no reason to, or I'm not going to, or whatever it is, it's gone. But the moment you said, aha, I think I will do this, at that point in time, you have now adopted the thought. It's now a part of your life. It is now yours, and that thought is going to create a reality or manifest into that reality, and vice versa as well. You want to surprise somebody, and the thought just comes into your mind out of nowhere, and you decide, okay, yes, I'm going to do this for this person. It's going to be a great experience, and you do it. You follow through on the thought. How many times have you had thoughts to do good things and you never did it? Right? So having the thoughts doesn't mean anything. Adopting the thoughts and deciding you're going to do something with it, that's when you either going to get into doing something good or doing something bad. Okay, hope you enjoyed this today, and I will do another one of these that's probably a little more simpler, but I'll stay with the same. We are living in this universe that we don't understand, and information is always flowing, and I think we are like little radio stations, and we are just picking things up all the time. And the same way you can tune out a station and go to another station is the same way you can tune out your thoughts and go to other thoughts. Okay, hope you enjoyed this, hope it made sense to you, and listen to it again. And don't forget the website, eforwomen.com, where we have music that is designed to strengthen your mind, energize those thoughts, or at least bring those thoughts into being, that will make you successful, keep you pumped, keep you energized, and keep you heading in the right direction. And what keeps you heading in the right direction? If you are thinking about going in the right direction and you're obeying those thoughts, you are following in the right, or heading into the right direction. Okay, anyway, enjoy, you have a good time. Good seeing you today. See you on my next video. Okay, peace.